Hey everyone, this is Mike,
Hey, and this is Josh.
and we've got a special guest down here. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, this is Nick Push, and he has Nick Push's, his horror channel.
Yeah. How's it going, Nick?
Going good. I appreciate you guys asking me to come on. I tried ditching Josh's messages about 5 times, but the guy is relentless. I figured I just had to shut him up. So here I am. I'm
I'm glad
obviously
the nine,
obviously kidding. Obviously
I'm
kidding.
glad I'm glad the 9.95 super chat went through. Is what I'm.
Yeah, big super chats.
Oh me.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you have not subbed to Nick's channel, we're going to put the link in our video description here. We got probably
Yep.
cut this into a couple of different videos just since we have Nick on here, and we followed his channel now for probably a
Yeah,
year now, right, Josh? A little over a
yeah,
year.
yeah. A
And he's got
while
some
with.
great content. The
Yep.
one that he really did recently that I was like, I've watched probably 10 times is the audience reaction to Halloween. I love that video. Nikki knocked it out of the park on that one. I was like, man, that's a great video.
I appreciate it. And if you've watched it 10 times, A, you should get a life. And B, you gotta be sick of me. Come on.
I'm gonna tell you, Mike is a Halloween homer,
I
and
am.
he will defend any of these movies. Well, not any of them.
No, not all of them, Josh. There's three or four in there that's probably not very good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your American Werewolf in London video
Yeah.
that you did, Nick. I enjoyed that. And I always like your takes about The Thing. I think The Thing is that's probably one of my favorite horror movies too. And I know you have a lot of you admire that movie a lot, and so do I. I really enjoy it. And for me, I put it above
Yeah,
Halloween because I think it's just that much better of a story. I mean, Halloween's iconic, of course, but I think the Thing's story is just so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm obviously a Halloween guy. I mean, look behind me here. It's why I started my channel. It's why I got obsessed with horror. But I won't argue with anyone that puts The Thing above Halloween because I think it's kind of Carpenter's coup de grace. It's kind of where everything was
Yeah.
firing on all cylinders for him. There's just so much going on with it. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'll
Yes.
never argue with anyone that puts The Thing above Halloween.
Yep. Okay, so let's just talk about Halloween, won't we? Let's talk about Halloween. Okay, so why is this your favorite Halloween? Is it your favorite I mean, you said you're a Halloween guy. Is it your favorite franchise?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember I was 5 years old, and the first horror movie I ever saw was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. So I got done watching that, and I get home from the neighbor's house, and my dad was at work, comes home, I'm scared, and he's like, my mom's like, I can't remember exactly what happened, but my dad's like, what'd you let him watch that for? And she goes, I thought he was watching Halloween. I was like, oh, what's Halloween? And I remember being 5 years old, watching it, scared the shit out of me. But somehow it scared the shit out of me. But I was like, I like that feeling, So ever since then, I just remember being obsessed with Myers. Back then it was late 80s or so there wasn't too many movies out. Never really saw any in the theaters till mid to late 90s. But I was just obsessed with Myers and just the mystique of Myers and the white mask and Loomis and all of that stuff, and just the whole setting of Halloween, the atmosphere of the season, always just kind of intrigued me, and love those, for lack of a better term, spooky vibes and things like that. So I just became obsessed with it, and I was just reading everything I could, and it's just been kind of an obsession ever since then. So yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it as a kid.
Okay. Yeah, I personally, Halloween 1 is really, really good. But personally, I think Halloween 2, I'm not going to say it's just as good, but it's right there for me. Halloween 2 is. I think it's a really good companion piece. I don't know how you feel about Halloween 2. And yeah, and then of course Halloween 4 is pretty good, I think. Halloween 4, but then you get 5 and 6 in that timeline, and they're not very good. I don't know how do you feel about that timeline? Like the original timeline, how do you feel about that?
So like you, I love Halloween too. I
Yeah.
depending on the year, some years I watch it more than the OG, you know. I do think, you know, you got Halloween and then there's a huge gap in Halloween 2, but Halloween 2 is fantastic. You kind of had the band back together with, you know, Carpenter and especially Dean Cundy, who did Halloween 2 as the DP, you know, especially just the way he lit up that hospital and things like that. And you got Loomis back, and you know, Laurie's obviously back, even though she's relegated to a hospital bed. But you had the whole crew, you know, Tommy Lee Wallace, Deborah Hill, the whole crew was there, and you could just tell, even though it was 3 years later, you know, you could just tell, you know, that it was kind of firing on all cylinders as a sequel. Always loved Halloween 4 as a kid. I still love it. Certain things haven't aged the best for me. You know, the mask. I can't stand the mask in Halloween 4. I find it distracting.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. And I get why it's bad. You know, at the time, Michael Myers was just a guy in a white mask, right? You know, so they just could grab any mask. And I know there's a whole story behind it, you know, where it came and it didn't have enough features, or had too much facial features, so they painted it white and it got rid of everything. You know, I get all that. And I know there's a pink mask in the movie and all kinds of shit, right? But I just find the mask distracting and it's just so bad. And they didn't realize at the time that there were going to be channels like this, channels like all ours, are going to be breaking down every single detail of these films. So they didn't care. It was 1988, right?
Right.
So I get that. Yeah. But Halloween 4 is great. The characters are great. It's a simple story, just like the original. You know, Jamie Lloyd is a great character. Rachel is arguably, depending on the person, you know, depending on the day, you know, she might be a better final girl than Laurie Strode. You know, it's just a fantastic, it's just a fantastic movie and a fantastic, like, you know, sequel. So yeah, I'm with you. And then Halloween 5, what do you say?
The Thorn. I don't know why they tried to do this whole Thorn thing. I don't get it. Yeah, and a little side note, in Halloween 4, I have no idea why they thought that having a scene with a Michael Myers with a pink face and white hair would, like, just be they're gonna overlook it. No, like, I just don't get that. But yeah, I don't get the whole Thorn thing. Like, what's the point of it? Like, okay, it's controlled by then that totally, to me, that totally ruins. You know, they're trying to ruin the first and second movie, in my opinion. That's how I feel. I just don't like the Thorn thing. Do you?
I'd like to intersect, kind of interrupt right here, though.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
Kind of off the beaten path of it. What's your thoughts, Nick, on Halloween 3? Even though, I mean, we know it's not really, you got the one little scene with Michael Myers on the TV screen, but what's your, you know, because I remember back in the day when it came out, I'm 53 years old. I'm a little older than you guys.
He's old.
And I remember just everybody was just pissed off. I remember as a kid, everybody was pissed off. And I kept thinking, and then all of a sudden it kind of had this resurgence here in the last 10 years, 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say this, I went back and watched it and I said, damn, it still sucks.
I don't like it either.
I want to like it. I love Atkins as the actor.
Yeah,
it's very cringy for that time period, though, the stuff that happens. But I just want to love it so bad. I know there's some friends of ours and people we've had on, we've interviewed. Sean Clark loves it, and you know, I know he's the agent for Atkins and stuff, but I just can't get into it, man. I want to so bad, but I just can't. I don't know. But you may be the opposite, Nick. You may say I love it, but I mean, I get if people do like it, they just like what they like. But I don't know.
I do love it.
Okay.
What I love about it is I love the score. I love once again the season of Halloween. And I love that it's just a batshit crazy story where the villain is trying to kill all the fucking kids in the world. Like, Jesus Christ. Like to your point, things haven't aged well. And you know, when I was growing up, you know, it was the same thing as most people. Like, you know, Halloween 4 had already come out, and you hear Halloween 3. That's the one without Michael Myers in it. Okay, I wasn't around for the marketing or lack thereof. You know, so I'm not going to watch that. There's no Myers in it. Well, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 18 years ago, something like that. You know, I gave it a shot, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. But now, to your point, the last 10 years or so, and especially the last 3 or 4 years, as people have gotten more involved on Twitter and YouTube and things like that, everyone calls it underrated, right? It's underrated. It's underrated. Well, I think now it's becoming the classic case where it's been so underrated and everyone says it's underrated that maybe it's becoming a little bit overrated now. Because yes, it's good, but I think it's good, but is it really good if you watch it? Like if it came out today, would people really like it? I don't know. I doubt it. So I don't know. I just think, something is so underrated, or, the public says it's underrated for so long and everyone says it's underrated that eventually everyone's going to overlook its flaws because you just didn't give it a shot as a kid or anything like that. So I understand why people don't like it. And I understand why people like it. I enjoy it. I watch it every October. But I can't sit here and tell you that it's any good. I just think it's got that 80s feel to it, and the early 80s, like I said, batshit crazy, and it's just a movie you can't replicate now. But like I said, I enjoy it. I just think the hype train that it's been on the last few years is probably people going a little bit overboard.
Yeah,
I would like to see in later, I like the concept now, not that I did back then. I like the concept of the mask.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the later Halloween films, if they would have woven that story in with Michael's mask and some other mask, even Michael Myers' mask when he was a kid, do something where they kind of intertwine that in. That's kind of what I wish with the David Gordon Green trilogy would. Maybe somehow they would have intertwined that in there. But I know Josh is ready to talk.
I thought they were going to.
Yeah. Well, I think in Halloween 3, when he sleeps with that girl, and then he goes, "Wait, how old are you?"
How old?
Like afterwards.
Yes.
And got his Pat Blue Ribbon or Miller High Life too. You had to have his.
Yes. And when they're banging and Marge is getting killed, she's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Who cares?" What's funny is the actress that's dying when he says, "Who cares?" in the other room was at the time Atkins' real life wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
That whole part is crazy. And then he neglects his children, and I don't know. It's just, I mean, I like Tom Atkins. I really would like to meet the guy and get his autograph, but I think he's good in that. I mean, he's good in it, but So we didn't finish up Halloween 6 in this timeline. What did you think of that one? I didn't. Growing up, I probably saw Halloween 2 and Halloween 6 the most because I just remember being on AMC or whatever, and Halloween 4.
Yep.
But so Halloween 6, I didn't think it was that bad. But then as you get older and you hear, wait, there's 2 cuts of this movie? What the heck? There's 2 different cuts of this movie. Also, I don't like that Michael in that movie. I think that's the one where Michael had a baby with his niece. No, stop. No, I didn't like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that I like about Halloween 6. Once again, Halloween atmosphere. Some of the cinematography is pretty good. Things like that. Myers is, up until that point, it might have been the most badass Myers, up until we got to, the Rob Zombie ones. But to your point, people overlook it. Yes, we don't see it on screen, but it is heavily implied, especially in the producer's cut, that Michael bangs his niece. What the hell?
Yeah.
We're supposed to buy that as fans? And I know the whole producer's cut and the whole story behind it. I get all that. Studio interference, etc. They were painted into a corner by Dominique and his direction and story decisions in Halloween 5. All of a sudden in Halloween 5, the thorn tattoo is on his wrist, so they got to explain that. The man in black is there. He steals Jamie and Myers. They got to explain that, right? There's a 6-year time jump for reasons. So they got to do something there. But who thought some of this shit was a good idea?
I don't know. I wish they would have went with what they ended number 4 with, where she was like a killer, like Michael Myers was when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
At the end they showed her with a knife because she's why didn't they go on with that? But then that got erased and number 5 happened. So I don't know, man. You mentioned it, the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I personally can't stand them, don't like them, and will never watch them ever again. It's in another category with another Halloween movie that we'll talk about in a minute. But the Rob Zombie ones, to me, trash. Just too much. Just too much, man. Like, I'm just not a big fan of Rob Zombie movies, I guess, because I don't really care for House of Corpses or Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
I just don't care for his type of movies. And how do you feel about the Rob Zombie ones?
Pretty similar. The Rob Zombie style is not for me. I've actually gained a newfound respect a little bit for some of his 2007 remake, specifically like the score and some of the stalking scenes. But yeah, it's just not for me. The first 5 minutes of the movie, you're watching it and you hear a stepdad saying, "I will skull fuck you," and it's just like that takes me out of it. Like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, I get it, Rob. Your niche is, white trash. Like, I get it. But is it necessary in a remake of a classic like this? No, it's not. And it sucks because I actually think Rob Zombie is a pretty brilliant filmmaker as far as some filmmaking techniques, but they need to rein in and have someone else write it and just let him, film a movie. All the white trash writing and rape scenes and all kinds of shit. Like, I can't do it. It's just,
there's no need
so
for
I'm
that.
with you.
Yeah. There's no need for rape scenes in horror movies, in my opinion. It's especially in the climate we're in now, it's just really a bad look. And I know this was 20 years ago almost now, but still, it's just not a good look. I remember watching that with my then fiance, and she was like, why is this in the movie? And I'm like, I don't know. This is stupid. And then I don't care about language. I talk like a sailor, but this is like boom, 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 F, 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 just F. Like, it's just too much, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I haven't even watched the number 2 yet, even though I just bought on eBay a lot of Halloween movies and I got 1 and 2. I am going to go back. I've watched the first one a couple times. I'm not a big fan of the F-bomb every other word. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind it here and there. I just thought, like you said, it was kind of over the top. I mean, like, the people I know, and listen, I'm a hillbilly from North Carolina. I know the rednecks, and they don't even talk like that all the time. I mean, maybe they do up north. I don't know. Me and him got this north-south thing. We pick on each other all the time, but I don't know anybody who speaks like that. I mean, we speak slow, but we don't say F word every other word. Now that I have them, I am going to go back and watch both of them again. I do like some of the mask in the first Halloween, especially the young Michael Myers. I mean, the pumpkin mask he's got on. I mean, that's a cool ass mask in my opinion.
Yes.
I like some of the stuff that Rob Zombie did in it. I don't know if I'm going to be like that second one because I've seen the mask in that, and I'm like, here he is. I don't know. It's going to probably remind me of too much of David Gordon Green's last one. I don't know. I got to tell myself.
It's just weird. It's like a fever dream in a way. Like, there's like so much like weird stuff in the second, in my opinion. Just like, man, you're like creeping on Thorn trilogy type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like number 5, number 6 type weird shit in that movie. So
let's just cut the chase. Let's quit dating here.
Okay.
David Gordon Green's trilogy.
Oh yeah. How do you feel about that, Nick?
Some people hate it. Some people love it. Some people like part of it and hate part of it. We've done one of our best videos we've done is talking about it. I mean, and it probably had 100 different comments on it. So, Nick, I've seen some of your videos before. I think I know where you come from on some of this, but tell everybody here watching what's your thoughts on Halloween, and then Halloween ends, and then it kills and then ends. What's your thoughts on it?